Yo, if you're wondering why Gojira is creating this music that acts like a magnet, that leaves people wowed and hypnotized in shows and also when you see videos and when they release albums, definitely you have to check this video because we are gonna analyze in detail what aspects makes a band like Gojira create so massive attention on their new music. And maybe if you are creating your own music or you have your own band and you also want to impregnate these ideas into your own music, it will be very, very cool for you. So let's first check this song from the album Fortitude, Born for One Thing, and then we will study in detail why this band is so fucking huge. Let's go. All right, guys. All right. We're not gonna go into details about the music, the production, and anything like this. We're gonna walk around this idea of why Gojira is Gojira in a more wider perspective, not just music production, but wider perspective, because this will give you much more clarity. Because what happens to most of guitarists that we just think about music with riffs and chords and power chords and melodies. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen also with my own band, that by the way, I didn't present myself, my name is Vivi from the metal band Crysis, and I've been creating music as well for 18 years with my band. And basically, you go through a lot of phases in your life, that you first start creating music with just doing bunch of riffs, then you are then starting to check a little bit more wider perspective and more wider perspective. And when it comes to a moment that you don't like to create more music like just using riffs because it's just boring, because you want to create songs, meaning you want to create an idea, a wider idea that makes more impact, and that's why Gojira, I like it a lot from the perspective, guitarist perspective. I like a lot that it's so easy. And by the way, this video I'm not gonna just go in detail on how to play these riffs. They're pretty easy. But if you want to go more into how I play these riffs with palm muted, with more better execution, I have tons of video in my channel. I will leave this one over here that it's for transforming your right hand picking. But now we're gonna just go into the wider idea, as I was mentioning, and you see that Gojira is playing all the time with these riffs that are very easy. If you hear them with the production and everything, they sound massively good. But if you just are in your home playing, it could be the first riff that you create, when you're in your teenage era, or for example this thing. In the end, I like a lot from Joe Duplantier. What I like a lot is the simplicity, because Mario is not playing with simplicity. He's bringing all the craziness in the drumming. But I like a lot how the guitar work from Christian and Joe, it's fucking cool. And by the way, I don't know why I didn't do a Gojira video in my channel before, because it's a band that I really admire a lot, and now that I'm living in France especially, I am also being very impregnated in the culture of Gojira. And I like a lot the simplicity of the riffs, I like a lot how they're delivering these compact riffs, very easy structures, and then they bring you to these melodies that make you fly away and go to the fifth dimension. I think that's the formula that they found, and what I've seen, of course, there's an evolution of the band, since they started with the first albums. I'm not a huge fan, which means that I'm very fan of what they do, but I'm not a fan that has been following all the evolution of the band, and just so to speak, I'm just doing a little bit the perspective of the wider perspective right now. Okay, so here what I'm seeing, is that they started to make noise with the death metal community because they were bringing something new, but then they refined their style. They made it more simple, more compact, And it was in this album Fortitude what brought my attention, and that's what I want to especially talk about. It was this album called Fortitude, where I think they really nailed everything, every aspect of the band. The type of riffs that are very simple with the crazy drumming, but then also with the lyrics that they were bringing, with talking about the problems in the ecologic. I don't know if you call it like this, ecological problems and problems about the world, philosophy, introspection. I think Gojira is more in this vibe, but especially in Fortitude, it brought this level of the band into another dimension, because this is something that I see with a lot of students and also people with bands that they want to know more how to level up their impacts with their music, and they come to me asking for feedback. I see that when they come already with everything built, like songs, message, everything. And from there, they think that it's just a matter of promotion, that they reach better impact, But in the end, when you are maximizing and boosting the promotion of your music, if the music is not good enough, it will not bring good enough results, It's not a matter of how much you spread it, it's the matter of how good it is. Because if it's really good, the music that you're putting, the message, everything, all this packaging that we are talking, it's when really it impacts so in a deep level to each one around you. Even if it's for 10 people around your town, you will have the 10 diehard fans forever, if the album is great. And that's what you should be aiming, not to try to just spread it because you think that spreading it will be more fans, but let's just find that something that really touches people's hearts, And I think really Fortitude, it brings this idea, because this album, it's not just about, if you check the cover album, the cover art of this album, you see that there is this guy, this native Indian from Amazon, probably, from the rainforest, and you connect with this inner strength of this native protecting his land, this inner strength, battling struggling the outer world, the human evolution, trying to consume all this rainforest, Amazon, trying to cut trees and everything. So you see there's a spirit behind the album, And in this album, it doesn't mean that all the songs they talk about this, this native inner strength or rainforest. It's like there's a narrative that is going around the album, and what makes it special is it's a pack, it's compact, it's like it's powerful, it's really well done. And what this makes it's very interesting is that the album has a mission in the end. This is something that it's so hard, to find this idea of what is the mission of your album. When you are doing your music, with your band or alone sitting on their own, you're probably going into this idea of let's create music like a puzzle of different ideas, riffs, lyrics, and then you put it all together and you have this in Spanish we call it conglomerado. I don't know the name in English, but it's like a combination of different rocks with different colors, And what you want in the end, it's a huge, massive rock. You want people that when they blink, if they blink, if they see very, very fast your artwork, your everything, in a blink of an eye, they can have an essence of what's this album about. And with Fortitude, this you can achieve it. You can achieve this feeling of what is this album about because of this strength of the powerful image, the Amazon. Then they have an Operation Amazon called Operation Amazon that they were trying to give their contribution to the rainforest and give more awareness, raise awareness. So the album has a mission, and it doesn't mean that all the songs goes about this, but there is this inner strength, this philosophy, this resilience, and this this inner power unleashed on this album. And I think it's beautiful, to see all this subliminal narrative around the album, and the symbolism that takes with this native in the artwork, the Operation Amazonia, that gives everything much more sense about taking care of the planet, but using the power of the oneself, like trying to contribute, giving your contribution, fighting for your land, So, guys, this is what makes a masterpiece, and I think artists, sometimes we don't pay too much attention into these details. We just try to just create a bunch of songs, and then we put a name together that makes more or less makes sense, and then we just put an artwork that more or less makes sense. But when there is one mission, behind the album, where there is this wider idea, this big idea that gives meaning to all the album, that's when you are under power, something powerful, something that gives this magnetism. That's why when I was saying before, when people tells to me like, how can I spread my music and make it more commercial or make it more successful? Maybe what you have to understand is that you have to pay a lot of attention into what is the seed of the album, what is the idea, the first idea that comes before you make the music, you make the lyrics, you make the everything, Because when you put so much attention to this first little idea, that then it's like, I like to see it like a seed, when you're planting the correct seed, that's when the tree will start to grow, like the songs, the music video, the ideas, the promo campaign, everything will be aligned to this idea, to this seed. And from there, you will have the correct fruits, because everything will be much more aligned. This is mastery level of artistry, what I would say. And in this album, Fortitude, I really think that these guys achieved it. In the live show, in the promo campaign, as I said, from the Operation Amazonia, I think it's a great humanity move, to do, and it's a very powerful and aligned with who they are. It's not like, let's just do this because we want promotion. We want to make promotion about our new album, trying to save the rainforest of Amazonia, but Amazons. But they are these dudes, So when everything is aligned and powerful, that's when you bring music to a new dimension. And even that you cannot see, and maybe if you superficially go through Fortitude and you just see a bunch of songs with a cool artwork, there is this magnetic effect, because there is much more behind the music. There's much more beyond the music, that even that you cannot realize it at first, somehow you start getting it, you start feeling it. And that's what I like to call the magnetic effect of a good album, And achieve this for an artist is top God tier, It's God tier artist. It's artistry. It's the best. And that's why I tried that to students and also musicians and bands that also they reach to me. I like to make them understand how important it is to carefully choose the seed. So everything then later, it becomes much more easy. And no matter how much money you spend on ads or video clip or whatever, it will be powerful because the seed is powerful. And I like a lot to transmit these things and also exchange a conversation. And every month I try to guide from my own experience to 5 musicians, if my calendar allows me, because right now I'm into middle of the trips and also some classes. So I like to do these free strategic sessions where I guide the musicians that normally they have problems with going into how to make a correct promotion, how to reach more people. But especially, what I like to talk about these guys normally is what is this seed, evaluate and analyze what is the seed idea of your album, because that's when we start to find much more answers on what is the correct way to promote it and do the correct things. So I like to develop artists like this, and have this conversation. So every month I try to give these free strategic sessions to 5 musicians. So if you want to check it out, you're preparing your new album, but especially don't do it when the album is already done. I think the best, if you want to follow my advice, is do it when you're cooking. When you're cooking, or even before you're cooking, that's the best way to start choosing the correct seed. So you will find the link in the link in this bio, and I will be more than happy to check it out with you guys. And also, if you want to know more about the marketing tools and how to promote it correctly on Spotify, you have the Artist Survival Kit also in the link in description, link in description of this video, which is this the tools, the strategic tools for you to really push it into the world and really make it blow, But the most important thing is the seed. What seed are you choosing? So, guys, I hope you understood a little bit the philosophy behind this video. It was not about showing you how to play it, but it's you about understanding why Gojira is Gojira. I'm gonna do it with more bands. If you have any suggestion, let me know in the comments. And also, if you like this video, also let me know in the comments. Thank you for joining one more video, and I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers!